Welcome to Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. I'm gonna teach you how to play the game properly. First, when you go to the character select screen, you gotta go over to Donovan, and then when you hit down, you can pick Dan. Now, Dan is the worst character in the game, but he's also the best because he's Dan. Now, the key difference between characters in this game is their counter gems. It's a normal match 3 puzzler, but the counter gems are what separate it. When you make match 3s, then your gems will drop into the enemies based on the pattern of your counter gem. This is what a standard counter gem looks like. This is Ryu's. This is Dan's. It's all red, and you can quickly fuck yourself over. Of course, I only let that happen to me sometimes. But when you're Danning out, there's only one thing you can do. Pick Dan. And that's what we're going to be doing. Pick more Dan. And we're giving Donovan a piece of our mind. And on our second attempt, with a big, powerful 4-chain, Donovan crumbles beneath the might of Dan. And literally with Dan, we will be rolling into the next match of the arcade. I'll make you cry like I did when my daddy died. As we look forward to our next opponent, Ken. Also from Street Fighter. Now, Ken and Dan may be similar characters in Street Fighter, but they're oh so different in Super Puzzle Fighter. The main difference being, I'm Dan. And swiftly, as it began, 5-chain sending a nice 38, danger blocks over to Ken. Dan causes Ken to crumble. On the first attempt as well. As that luck will not be continuing into the third battle, as we're up against the first Darkstalkers character in the game, Morrigan. Not only is Morrigan the first Darkstalkers character, she's also got one of the most complicated counter patterns in the game. Fortunately, Morrigan's first big drop of blocks to us is somewhat manageable. The second one, not so much. Falling to Morgan. But there's still that one saying, when you're Danning out, the only thing you can do, pick Dan. And the second attempt doesn't work out any better than the first one. But Dan isn't about that. Dan is about the determination. The strength in constitution of going again. And even when your back is pressed against the wall at the worst possible opportunity, the light can shine through. With the perfectly placed blocks, we drop enough. Third time's a charm. Morrigan down. And it was after this battle, I realized how doable this was. Dan may be garbage, but if I just try hard enough, I will succeed. Going into this battle with Chun-Li, I was confident. Chun-Li's block counters seemed very easy to deal with, so I figured I was in a relatively strong position of my own. But oh my god, I'm gonna blame the monkey on this one. This little fucker was distracting me. Well, what can you do except pick Dan? And we're backed into a corner once again, with Chun-Li setting up so many counter blocks. Unfortunately for Chun-Li, I have prepared. Your pattern is no match for Dan. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite enough to end, so you gotta maneuver and eke out as much as you can right now. 6 block drops is all it takes for Chun-Li down on the 3rd try. And with Chun-Li down, we reach the halfway mark, treated to a nice little intermission before we challenge the final 4. First up in this final 4 gauntlet, we have Shenko, I'm pretty sure is how it's pronounced. Shenko? Also from Darkstalkers. Also has a stupidly complicated counter pattern. And much like all the others, Shenko also falls to the might of Dan. I was wrong. Sorry, I lied. Oh no. But if we pick Dan again and pretend the last round never happened, then Shenko falls to Dan. Before heading into the next battle, Dan's arch rival, Ryu. If anyone knows Street Fighter lore, there's a long and draught history between these two. Dan, the arch rival of Ryu. Dan setting up a great start to this battle. Unfortunately, those timers on the counter blocks are about to, not help out all that much as Ryu lays in Hadouken down Dan. Well, there's one thing we always say when the going gets tough, and that's pick Dan. Can the second attempt against Ryu go any better? It can't go any worse. And like I said, it can't go any worse. Fortunately for a skilled Dan player such as myself, this was in fact not worse, as we set up a wonderful chain reaction here. Thanks to Ryu's simplistic pattern I showed you all at the beginning of the video, it is so easy to take down this whole gem setup that Ryu produced for us. And in fact, not just taking it down, taking it all the way back to him. Oh shit. Wait, I was wrong. God damn it, Dan. It was at this moment, facing the harder people in the arcade mode, I had to think to myself, do I really want to continue with this? Of course I do. So I do what any sane person would do and pick Dan. Giving my arch rival once again, the skilled Dan in me ready to break out. And really ready to break out as an amazing 4, 5, 6 chain reaction, and it's not even done before Ryu crumbles. We'll roll on into the next battle. And for our 7th opponent here, I actually have to censor out Felicia here, because she's basically a naked cat girl. Also from Darkstalkers, but we're gonna skip over this battle for YouTube censorship reasons. Felicia is also taken down with the power of Dan, making the perfect setup for our final battle against Sakura, who I believe is like Ryu's protege in the Street Fighter lore, but let me tell you, Sakura should be Dan's protege. And like everyone who has come before me, they all eventually fall. Sakura is none the wiser, none the different. They all keel before Dan. And with that, we clear the arcade mode in Super Puzzle Fighter 2 with Dan, the joke character. Oh wait, I lied. There's one more stage. The mirror match, Dan versus Dan. The battle of the century everyone has been waiting for.
Let's go! Germa versus Star, Germa versus Star. Everybody wants to see this happen.
Dan versus Dan. Dan versus Akuma. As clear by Akuma's AI, who's moving so much faster than everybody else in the game, I was in trouble. I was actually very worried by Akuma. Especially because I didn't know his counter pattern. I didn't know how to prepare, where to place my blocks. It seems almost random as I'm looking at it. Well, you know, Akuma keeps throwing out his moves faster than me. I'm getting all these bombs. I'm not quite sure how to prepare. I'm honestly very worried by this match. And for the sake of drama, the whole fate of the run resting on this battle. There are no retries if I lose. We are watching this one fully. No edits. This is the Akuma run. Can Dan come out on top, or do I have to start all over again from the start? These unpredictable gem counters. But Dan keeps throwing down his red. Eventually, the power of the red block shall shine through. Hopefully, Akuma. This is a very, very painful moment, but thankfully I actually have enough yellow tiles here to match up. Drop some massive offense back towards Akuma. I use my power, and this power is going to convert all the blue into red, which actually saves my life there, because like Akuma dropped so many at me. The power did dampen the amount of blocks Akuma was sending my way. But this is still not looking good. Oh wait, I lied. It's always looking good for Dan. And we clear Akuma on the first try. I was prepared to do this arcade mode at least like 5 or 6 times in order to beat it without resetting on Akuma, because you can't. And with that, we have beaten Super Puzzle Fighter 2 with Dan. This isn't really normally like the normal videos I do on my channel. This is kind of weirdly in between like my improv-y stuff and VODs, I guess. I have the full run. I don't plan on uploading it, but if people care, I could upload it as a hidden video or whatever. But anyway, I was just messing around with the game and I was like, hey, this would be fun if I could do it. But anyway, as the credits roll for Super Puzzle Fighter, thanks everyone for coming out, and peace until next time.